Welcome, my name is Peter Strong. I'm a professional mindfulness-based psychotherapist, and I offer online therapy via Skype for overcoming anxiety and depression and many other psychological, emotional problems that can benefit from learning the techniques of mindfulness therapy. People like the convenience of online therapy. It's much more friendly and less intimidating than conventional clinical type approaches. Generally, people want to learn how to manage their emotions more effectively. They don't want to go on medications. Sometimes it's useful to take medications to reduce the intensity of anxiety or depression, but it's not a good long-term strategy. You need to address the underlying process, the process of reactive thinking and emotional reactivity that operates habitually, that feeds your anxiety or depression. You need to bring consciousness to these underlying habits. And that's the focus of mindfulness therapy. The approach of illuminating your emotions with conscious awareness in a non-reactive manner is very, very powerful. So that's what we learn to do, and I will teach you how to do this during each session. I will teach you very practical methods that you can apply yourself between sessions. And this is absolutely essential for good results. You have to have methods that you can apply yourself and do the real work, which is between sessions. And this is what I will teach you. I will teach you how to work with your emotions using mindfulness. The results are very effective indeed. They're very good results for anxiety and depression, and also for helping with recovery from emotional trauma as well. I see lots of people who suffer from anxiety. This is by far the most common condition, and most people really benefit very quickly. Typically, you can expect to see significant improvements after at least, the first 3 or 4 sessions. It should not take months or years of psychotherapy to produce significant changes. If it takes that long, then that simply indicates that the approach is not very effective. You should be seeing changes within weeks, not months, and certainly not years. So if you are interested in this approach, using mindfulness for overcoming anxiety and depression without using medications or without years of talk therapy, then please reach out to me by email. You can ask any questions that you have about how this approach will work for your particular situation. All you need for online therapy is an internet connection and a mobile phone or a tablet, or of course a laptop or computer, and you can start. You don't need expensive equipment other than a basic laptop, really. Many people use their iPhones these days, and it works quite well for online therapy. So during the first session, I will explain to you what mindfulness is and how to apply it. And you will learn within that first session some of these practical methods that I've been talking about, about how to work with your emotions, and you will be able to apply them. In the second session, we will review the progress that you've made, and we will refine the methods that you have been taught, and so on. And each session builds on the previous session. The first principle in mindfulness therapy that we focus on is changing the way that you relate to your emotions. So typically, people react unconsciously to their emotions and to the triggers that trigger those emotions, whether that's external events or situations, or whether it's internal triggers in the form of thoughts or memories. The problem is that we just react blindly to these triggers, and we then end up feeding our anxiety and depression. So the first real breakthrough comes when you can learn to overcome these patterns of habitual reactivity, and that's much easier than you might think. The most important step is to make them conscious, because if they're not conscious, if you don't see these habits, then they just continue to operate blindly. But the moment you do focus conscious awareness on them, then you can begin to change them. And that's the first principle of mindfulness therapy, is developing this conscious relationship with your emotional habits. And the second part is promoting healing of internal anxiety and depression. And this we do in a variety of different techniques, but one of the most important ones is looking at the imagery of your emotions. And I will teach you how to work with your emotional imagery. It's not that difficult, it's just something you have to get used to doing. So all emotions are based around imagery. How you see your emotions and thoughts in the mind is what determines the emotional intensity of those emotions or thoughts or beliefs or memories. So uncovering this emotional imagery is essential for healing. When you uncover the imagery, then you can help it change. You can start exploring how to change that imagery. And the more you can change the imagery, the faster the anxiety or depression will heal. So there's lots of other things we do during mindfulness therapy sessions. That's just an outline, but everyone finds this approach to be far superior to traditional talk therapy or counseling. And certainly, for most people, this is a much more productive approach than relying on medications. So if you'd like to learn more, please contact me and let's schedule a Skype therapy session. Thank you.